Hey guys, I'm Jonas with PowerEquipmentMan.com. Today we're going to be going over how to install the high-speed gear set in your Yamaha Quietech. Now we sell several different gear sets for the 2007 and newer Yamaha Drive and Drive2 models. Now before you order those high-speed gears, you do have to verify which transaxle assembly you have in your cart. Now from 2007 until 2014, those carts should have the Team transaxle. Then in 2015 is when Yamaha changed to the newer Schaefer solid axle. Now that's used from 2015 and is still in use today in the solid axle models. Now you could have the 2017 and newer Quietech models with the independent rear suspension. Now those Quietech models came in two different options. So you're either going to have a Fleet Quietech or a PTV Quietech. Now the easiest way to tell for sure if you have a PTV model or a Fleet model is to just look at your dash. If you have a factory installed fuel gauge with an hour meter, then you have a PTV model. So if you have a cart that was a Fleet model but a dealer installed lights and turn signals and a horn and all that on it, it doesn't matter. It's still just a Fleet model, even though it's been converted to a technical personal transport vehicle. It's still a Fleet model. You only have a PTV if it came from the factory with the fuel gauge and the hour meter in the dash. Now that's going to tell you if you have the Fleet model gears or the high-speed PTV model gears. Now the gears that we sell for the high-speed gears are going to be similar to the gear ratio that the PTV carts come with. So those gears are going to be if you have a Fleet model cart and you want to speed it up to like what a PTV cart does. Now we do also sell a set of gears for the Quietechs that will gear down a PTV model. So if you have a PTV cart and you're struggling with it climbing hills, if you're in a very hilly area or you're pulling heavy loads or hauling a lot of people and you're really struggling with bottom end power, we sell a gear set that will gear down a PTV model to just the standard Fleet gears. So when you're on our website looking at the drop-down menu with all the different options, you're going to see one for the Team transaxle, you're going to see one for the solid axle Schaefer models, and then you're going to see two different options for the Quietechs. One of those is going to be the high-speed gears to gear up your Fleet model, or the slow-speed gears to gear down a PTV model. That is something important that you do need to know about going to high-speed gears, is they are going to help you get more top speed, but it is also going to hurt your bottom end torque. So that's going to be your acceleration and your hill climbing. You may end up losing more speed if you have a lot of large hills to deal with. So those high-speed gears are going to make you go faster on the top end, but it's going to hurt your bottom end torque. Now the best thing that you can do to help out that bottom end torque is to install a clutch kit. Now we sell our clutch performance kits in 3 different stages that offer more aggressive clutching depending on what your actual conditions are. So if you're going to be installing these high-speed gears and you've got some small hills and stuff that you're dealing with or heavier loads, I do strongly encourage you to also look at those clutch performance kits. Now we have already done a video on how to install these high-speed gears in the Schaefer solid axle model. So if you have a 2015 or newer model Drive 1 or Drive 2 that has that Schaefer solid axle, we do have a video already on how to install these high-speed gears, and I'll leave a link for that in the description down below. Now we're installing these high-speed gears as part of our Ultimate Street Cart Build series. Now we're taking this plain Jane Fleet model Quietech that just rolled off the course and we're going to turn it into an absolute street monster. Now we're going to be installing a bunch of goodies on this cart, and if you guys want to follow along with this build series, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Now to install these gears, if your cart has a rear seat kit on it, you're going to be better off just going ahead and removing that rear seat kit. Now depending on what model of seat kit that is, they typically only have 4 to 8 bolts actually holding that seat kit onto the cart. So if you can remove those mounting bolts, you can typically pretty easily remove that whole rear seat kit as one assembly. Now if you don't have a rear seat kit, you're going to just use a 5mm Allen head wrench to remove the 2 bolts holding down your access panel. Then you can go ahead and remove that rear access panel from the cart. Now you're also going to use that 5mm wrench to remove the 2 bolts holding on our rear skid plate. Then just pull down and back on that skid plate to remove it from the cart. Next we'll go ahead and remove our drive belt. Just give a good pull up on that drive belt and then roll it off your secondary clutch. Now we can use a 13mm socket to remove the drain plug from that rear diff. Next you'll want to use a jack to jack up the back end of the cart. Now you want to make sure that you're placing that jack underneath the frame of the cart and not your rear differential. Once you've got it jacked up, go ahead and remove both rear tires. Next we'll need to remove our throttle cables and governor arm from the top of this transaxle. Now I think it's easiest to keep all of that connected as much as possible. So to do that, we're going to just unbolt the brackets themselves from the transaxle. That way we can keep all the throttle cables installed in the brackets and we don't have to make any adjustments on them later. So we can just use a 3/8 inch wrench and a 7/16 inch socket to remove this top bracket. Now on some of your newer models, these top 2 bolts are also going to be going through a bracket that goes from the transaxle up to the back of the engine. Now they call this a stiffener bracket. Now we should be able to just leave that bracket in place as long as we're removing those 2 bolts from the top of the transaxle. Then we're going to use a 12mm socket to remove the bolts from the side bracket. We'll also go ahead and disconnect the vent tube from the side of the transaxle. Now we'll use a 10mm wrench to loosen the nut that holds the governor arm onto the shaft. Next, we're going to remove the lower A-arm mounting bolt. This will use a 17mm socket and a 14mm wrench. Once we've removed that bolt, then we can grab on either side of that brake drum and give a sharp jerk out. Now this should pop the inner axle out of the differential. So now that we've got both axles pulled out of the differential and we've got our throttle cable brackets unbolted and the governor arm slid off, the only thing that's still connected to this differential is going to be our forward and reverse cable. Now those are going to be easiest to get to after we've unbolted the differential and can bring it back where we can actually get to the front of that diff to be able to unbolt that cable. So we're going to go ahead and remove the 3 bolts on each side that are actually holding that differential to the frame. Now we'll just use a 14mm socket to remove those 6 bolts. Then rotate the transmission up enough that you can use a 12mm wrench to get to the nut that is holding on the forward and reverse lever. Once you remove that, you should be able to lift the rear diff out of the cart. Now that we've got this rear diff up on the bench, we can go ahead and use a 12mm socket to remove the bolt that's holding on our secondary clutch and slide that clutch off and out of the way. Then we're going to use a 3/8 inch wrench and a 7/16 inch socket to remove all the bolts going around the whole case. So now we've got all the bolts removed from around the case and we're ready to actually split the cases apart. Now when we're doing this, we want to have this side of this differential up. So we've got the input shaft side is facing down. Now we just used a 6x6 block. It's got a hole in it, so we can set this on there and not have any pressure pushing up on that input shaft. Now the reason we're doing that is when we remove this half of the case, we want as much of the stuff to stay in the bottom part of this case as possible, so that we're not pulling out all the smaller gears that are up in this top end. Now the only thing that's still holding this case together is the sealant going around the outside of the case. So we do have to apply quite a bit of pressure to break that seal and actually get these apart. And they do give you a couple of different spots on here to try to pry apart to get these cases to separate. But you do need to be careful so that you don't break these cases. If you apply too much pressure in the wrong spot, you're going to break something and it can completely ruin your cases. I wish I could tell you that there was some magic secret on making it easier to get these apart, but I really haven't found anything. So it's just a matter of using a pry bar and a dead blow and whatever you've got to try to get these cases separated. Now that we've got our cases separated, we're going to go ahead and remove this big gear at the back. Next, we're going to use a 9/16 wrench and socket to remove the 4 bolts holding on the larger gear to the differential. Then you can remove the gear from the differential. Now while we've got this assembled, we'll want to go ahead and run this differential and our new gear through our parts washer. Now if you don't have a parts washer, you could also just spray these down with brake clean, but you want to make sure they're good and clean before we go to reassemble this. Now that we've got everything cleaned up, we can go ahead and install the new gear on the differential. Now you do want to make sure that the recessed part of the gear is going down. Now before we start reassembly on the cases, we do want to get these cleaned up as best we can. So just use a brush to scrub around the edge of these to try to get all this rubber silicone material removed, and then clean on the inside of these as best you can, whether you have a parts washer or brake clean, and clean the other half of the case as well. Now we've got our cases all cleaned up and we've got the larger ring gear installed on the differential. The next thing that we need to do is get the smaller gear installed that was included with your high-speed gear set. Now to do that, we've just got to remove the washer from this shaft, and then we just slide this old gear up and off, and then we can slide our new gear right back down on there. Then reinstall that washer, and you also want to verify that this other shaft has the washer installed on that as well. Sometimes that washer likes to stick on the other case, so just make sure that you've got that slid back down on that shaft. Now we'll go ahead and reinstall the larger gear back into the case. Now after we drop this back down into place, it is a good idea to just spin it around a couple of times and just make sure that all these gears are spinning freely. Now we're ready to go ahead and apply some new sealant around these case halves. Now we're just going to be using some Permatex. The Ultra Black seems to work really well for this. Now the easiest way to do this is to just get some on your finger and then apply a light coating evenly all the way around one side of this case half. Now you don't want to put this stuff on too thick, or when you go to sandwich these halves back together, it's going to ooze out of both sides and you could potentially get sealant inside of the gear case and cause issues with your gears. Now we can reinstall the top half of the case. Now you can reinstall all the bolts around the case except for our top two bolts that we removed at the beginning that hold on the bracket. Now you want to tighten these bolts in a crisscross pattern. Now we've got it all reassembled and ready to put back in the cart. Now just like when we remove this, the first thing we want to do is get our forward and reverse lever put back on the shaft. Now these splines do have what they call a skip tooth. So if you look at the teeth on here, there is one spot where it's, instead of having a tooth, it just has a flat spot. And it's the same way on the arm for the forward and reverse cable. So there's only one position that arm will slide back on this shaft. So you want to take a look at that on your splines here and on the arm before you try to slide that back together. Once you get that slid back on, then go ahead and get your nut put on there. Now the other thing that you may also want to do now is reinstall your secondary clutch. While it's a little bit easier, you've got some more room to get to the bolt for that clutch. But before you slide that secondary clutch on the shaft, you do want to apply some fresh grease to these splines. So just use some good multi-purpose, like wheel bearing type grease, and just apply grease all over these splines before you slide that clutch on. Now last thing we need to do is add some gear oil back in our rear diff. Now Yamaha recommends using their 75-85 weight gear oil. We do have this available on our website, so you want to go ahead and make sure to order a quart of this when you order your high-speed gears. And this rear diff is going to hold right at a half a quart, so 16 ounces. So you can use half a quart when you first install the gears, and then I recommend doing a break-in oil change after maybe 15 or 20 hours worth of runtime. Go ahead and drive the cart around, get that oil good and warm, pull your drain plug, let all that drain out, and then use the other half of your quart of oil to get fresh oil back in there. And then you should be good to go, and just recommend changing that rear gear oil every 4 to 5 years, kind of depending on how much you use your cart. Once you've got oil back in there, you should be able to go ahead and reinstall your rear access panel and your rear seat if you had a seat on there, and you should be all good to go. Go for a good long test drive, make sure everything feels good. Now we do have these high-speed gears and the gear oil available on our website, along with a ton of other stuff for the Yamaha drives and drive-2s. So if you guys want to check those out, you can head over to powerequipmentman.com, and I'll leave a link for them in the description down below. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. If you got some good value out of this video, please hit that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.